Hey, everybody, good morning. We are coming at you with Coffee Talk, the nitty gritty on, oops, excuse me. I just had an alarm go off. We are coming to you from Coffee Talk, the nitty gritty on branding and marketing. Today I have with me Diana Cordaro and I have Joanne Johnson. See, I got to say them all right. And of course, I'm Trisha Turpinoff. And so Diana is an amazing graphic designer. She is going to chat with us about why your logos, all those things are important. And we're going to start with Joanne Johnson talking about mission and vision. Take it away.
Thank you, Trisha.
Mhm.
I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so glad that we are talking about these key foundational pieces, because everything, as people will find out when we're all finished, that everything else builds upon these pieces that we're talking about today. So we're talking about mission and vision, and the first thing you need to ask around that is, what's your big why? Why did you start your business? Was it financial freedom? A lot of people do it for that. Time, maybe you were sick and tired of doing the 9 to 5 thing, and wanted some flexibility and some time freedom. You may have wanted to spend more time with your family, or, you may have found that you were destined to do something greater than what you were doing in your previous life. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so any of those is and it's going to be individual, it's going to be up to that individual. We're all different. We all have different whys. And there's no right or wrong there. It is what it is. So find out what your big why is. And, I would suggest writing it down. It's always good to have that in front of you, and it keeps you going when you have your bad days. So keep your big why in front of you. And then the second thing that you need to figure out is, who is your ideal client? And sometimes I get pushback on this, like, oh, everybody's my ideal client, but I'm going to disagree with you. And maybe everybody is your ideal client, but you need to pick a person who is your ideal client, and I'll explain why.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it makes your message clear is why you do it. So you need to find out, what keeps that person up at night, right? Because you have the solution to their problem, or you have the solution to this desire that they have. And you need to know, what that is. How do you solve that problem or fulfill that need that they have? And so
Right.
you want to really know, what's their age, gender, education level. Some of these things may not matter, but some of them will. Let's say you're a nutrition coach and you're working with women over 40. Well, then of course it matters how old they are and what their gender is. And then that's great. Okay, so you've got the basics down. Then you want to go deeper into that. So it's a thing called psychographics, and you want to learn what their habits are, what their hobbies are, right? What are their values? Because you're going to take all of that information and you're going to talk to them in the way that's really going to speak to them. And the clearer you are on who you're talking to, the clearer your message is going to be. And that's really part of your branding is what your message is. So when and again, you might be talking to women, and I'm not talking about, the nutrition thing, but guys, need nutrition as well, obviously. But you may be talking to women, and there may be some guys out there that want to work with you too. And you're not going to turn that away probably, but that's not who you're talking to specifically. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes. So, what I would suggest too is to create what they call an avatar around who your ideal client is. So give it a name. Mine has a name. I can see her in my head when I do an email or a message, and I'm talking to her. So it helps, when you're staring at that blank page and you're trying to write a blog post or come up with some kind of content, it helps,
Right.
And
What's
if
her
nothing
name?
else, her name is Lynn.
Oh,
Yeah. And so she'll talk back to me. And maybe that's just a craziness I have. I don't know. Maybe that's too much information. Anyway, okay. So then when you have those things, what I would do too then is figure out what's your vision, and this is probably coming along too at the same time, is what your vision for your company is. And that might be that you want to give back. Maybe you give a certain percentage back of your profits, or maybe you want to scale your business and hire only veterans, or hire women that have gotten out of sex trafficking or something like that. You want to make a bigger impact that way as well. And that will be part of your message as well, and that vision might change over time, and that's fine. But again, you just want to be really clear on your message, and your ideal client may change over time too. And that's a whole nother rebranding story and conversation in itself. So once you've got that piece done, then Diana, you want to have a visual around that too. So why don't you talk about, what that looks like? Literally what that looks like.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, you kind of need to have your vision and who you are and your values and everything before you can really move on to the next stage, because you don't want to waste money. You don't want to buy, it's okay to start up with a logo or just some text or something like that. But, you really want to hit the mark, and the designer needs to know what your values and your company is about so they can develop something, a great visual. So anyway, we are going to get into a little bit of nitty gritty. Anyway, first, graphic design. A lot of people don't really know what it is. So it's everything that we do, everything we see, everything we buy. This is a good example of graphic design. I know, do some nice graphics. So it's a complex combination of words, which you just saw on the bag, pictures, numbers, charts, photographs, illustrations. I mean, it's as simple as infographics like this, which somebody else did. They did a great job. In order for it to succeed, you need somebody who's thoughtful, clear thinking, and problem solving, which, good designers have gone to school for this. We've done this a long time. We know how to troubleshoot stuff and problem solve and research and get it right. So anyway, but we orchestrate all these elements so they add up to something distinctful, useful, playful, subversive, or, somehow and sometimes memorable, right?
Ooh,
so everybody knows that. Anyhow, so good design is more expensive than mediocre design. You kind of get what you pay for, but some people are happy with a, cheaper, less expensive logo. And, I guess it's fine starting out, but you don't want to waste your money, because I've had people come back to me, I should change my logo. I need to change my logo. And they've already spent $200 or $300. So anyhow, but
you know what, Diana?
What's that?
You know what I would say? I would disagree about that. What sucks about having someone inexpensive do it for you is a lot of times they don't understand the things you just talked about, the values and the mission and your goals. And not only that, but they've spent the time working with that person to get that mediocre logo. So really, it costs you more to get a mediocre logo than it does to get something that really wows you and that you keep for a few years.
Yeah. I mean, you should have it for quite a while. Top companies do rebrand and zhuzh up their logos and stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, a long time ago, Coca-Cola tried and it failed.
Yeah, I mean, they are by
too.
Right. We did not like that. And we didn't like that new taste either. But no. I tell you what, they are the most recognized brand in the whole world. And you're right. Coca-Cola has had a very similar brand for a very long time. And it's not because they don't market, that's why they're the biggest brand in the world, is they do market, and and you're right. They have a killer logo that's very recognizable.
Yeah. So, they're not just a pretty image. So you can make it, which I may talk about that anyway. It's not just a pretty image. So I do have a fun example. It's for outdoor clothing. So
Aw.
It's a Mamu, all right? So why do they use this? Because they're selling outdoor winter clothing that will sustain you in an ice age. Outside
Oh, that's awesome.
cold
What a great
temperatures.
tagline.
So there was thought behind this. It's
That's
a
so
fun thing.
cool.
Yeah, that's cute.
And anyhow, but what you kind of want to start with is when you have your vision, you start with like a mood board, things that you like, things that you want to see your business. Is it clean and professional? Is it outdoorsy? Is it kind of fun? And you start with a mood board, or like a Pinterest board is what everybody, can relate to, and figure out some colors that you like, and, just a style that suits your business. I mean, if you're doing an outdoor adventure company, you might want it kind of nitty gritty, something like that. And a logo does not have to be an image. It can just be typography.
Right.
So, anyway, I'm trying to think of a good example. I didn't bring one today. And then you need to budget for all this branding, visual stuff. So, I don't know if we need to go into pricing, but it's going to be more than, a couple $100s.
And I would say something else. Can I interject here?
Yeah, absolutely.
About using a cheap, alternative. I would say not to either, because I know when I did mine and I worked with somebody, and it had, I had to feel it. And if that person who's creating, who doesn't know you or what you stand for or anything, you're going to go, oh yeah, that it will become a pretty image. That's it. It won't speak to you. It won't speak to anybody else either.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's really important too, is what's behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
And your customer's perspective is huge.
Huge. Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Oh, absolutely.
So, so how they're perceiving all your branding and marketing, and starting with your logo. So,
Right.
But image, we can segue it into to Trisha, because first of all, you put your logo everywhere. It's your business card, your website. It's on all your social media, and little circles and little squares, along with your headshot. So we'll just can talk about that now.
Absolutely. Well, I'll piggyback a little bit. If I can get it in the right place. Diana did this for me.
Oh, cute.
Isn't it adorable? It's a button, and they're making their debut today. It actually says turpinoff.com, very little in the corner. And I got to tell you what was awesome about this. Diana's done a couple logos for me. And this one, when she sent me like three different things. And I was like, that one. And that was it. And it was awesome. The next one was just about as easy. It was like, oh, make this a little bigger, change that. I think we went back twice. But it was like super simple stuff. It wasn't like a whole redesign or anything. And that's what I loved about Diana. I gave her all my colors. I'm going to actually put my button on. I gave her all my colors and everything. And she did. I gave her my mood board, or my color board. And it was really simple, and it was easy to communicate, because Diana's a professional, and I love that. So I agree with both of you guys. And the same with photography. It's like, we don't cut our own hair for a reason, right? You shouldn't do your marketing. You shouldn't do your own graphic design. Last time I cut my hair, 7th grade, I couldn't get a little curling iron around it. You do that once and you never do it again, right?
It was always like a bang day back in the day.
Oh my God, those bangs stuck straight out for like 4 days. It was terrible. And of course, you're in 7th grade, and it's 7th grade's horrible anyway because you're hormones. But I digress. Yeah, I agree. I think investing in, it's like I tell people, you don't do business alone. Being an entrepreneur is I think it's the hardest job ever. And the reason we do it is because we have such a passion for our expertise. And I am not an expert in marketing. I'm not an expert in graphic design. I'm an expert in photography, and I stay in my own lane, because then I'm truly my own expert. And I think that when people start their businesses, just like Joanne was talking about, you've got to get that foundation piece down, because it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, you started with the tricycle. You didn't start with the 10-speed. So you've got to start and get that foundational piece. And then you get what I call the iceberg. The top of it, the iceberg, is your logo. your colors and your fonts. And those are all very important. And then the next thing is the brand messaging, the brand voice, and the brand stories. And once you get that all together, then you can move into marketing and photography and video. And, I tell you what, there are people out there who I'm like, oh, please get a great headshot. And what they don't understand is that the engagement level in a great photo is so high. Like statistically, if the CEO puts their headshot in a post, they get 80% more engagement.
Wow.
I mean, who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah,
It really is. And here's the other thing that's cool about engagement with when you have great photography is that when you put it up, those people who comment and like, you need to go back and engage back with them. And what's awesome is it's not like somebody sending you an email going, hey, by the way, buy my product. They've said to you, I like what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Or they may have commented. And so you have an open door then to go back and say, hey, would you like to continue a conversation? And that only happens with good photography and great social media marketing. And so for me, I always say, no one's youer than you. Well, actually, Dr. Seuss said it. He said it, but it's so
wise
true.
words from a wise man.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I love him. And it's funny because it is true. No one's youer than you. Are there a lot of photographers? There are. Same with all three of us. There are many people out there, but none of them are us. And so we're going to have a segment, we're going to have an audience that just really likes what we do. But if we're not out there, if we're not putting our photographs out there, if we don't have a great headshot, it's virtually impossible. You could be the best at what you do, but if your face isn't out there, you're unknown. And that's really sad because I do know people who, if they just embraced social media marketing by putting their face out there and giving some good tips, tricks, and content through video, they would skyrocket. And it's just a matter of like you getting that business end down. Cause I think the business end's the sexy stuff. Cause once you get your policies and procedures down, everything builds from there. Cause if you don't do that, then everything's like a house of cards, right? Mm-hmm. Everything you build on from there, it's like you have to build the foundation on a house before you do anything else. And so there's building blocks and there's certain times to do things. But yeah, headshots are they're the perfect entry level because you can have just a killer headshot. And, when I talk to you about it, it is going to be about your brand colors and it will be about your goals and what you're looking to do, but it's not as involved as a branding session, which I'll talk about on another coffee talk. But headshots are a good headshot just turns people's heads. Like it's weird. I put my headshot up in July. For some reason, somebody commented on it. And now people are commenting all over again. Like I put it up yesterday.
That's awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, because what happens is then you start coming up high in the feeds again. Because I went looking through Facebook. I'm like, wait, why is my portrait up there again? And so people are seeing it again. And I didn't do anything. Somebody must have just found it or they were scrolling through my page. And they're like, that's really cool. And so the power of a headshot is amazing. Not only that, if you're a speaker or a coach or an author, you need something fantastic. It's like, there's a Sex in the City where she's writing a book or utilizing her columns and she was looking at headshots and the four of them are going through a bookstore and they're making fun of headshots. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of bad headshots. And so you have to really find a photographer that understands you. And I think one of my biggest strengths is that the reason that I photograph is because it's a challenge to find the essence of who people are. So I'm not photographing everybody the same way all the time because I want to see, it's really important for me to capture that slice of essence of you that's coming out. And what's fun about photographing people over and over again is the next time I photograph them, it's only better because they've grown and I've grown and it keeps on snowballing like that. And so it's really exciting. And I love seeing what people can do with their headshots. It's amazing. Well, Joanne, you just put yours out and oh my gosh, you got so much traction from that.
Yeah, and all I did was I changed my profile picture.
I know. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing. That's all you have to do. And I always love to help out my clients because I do know the power of social media marketing. So when I saw Joanne's picture, I shared it out and said something cool about Joanne and her business. so that other people, so that because I have almost 5,000 friends, so they could see what was up with Joanne. And those are the kind of things that we should be doing for each other. And that's how your headshot gets that major traction, is that people are helping you.
Mm-hmm. And
so,
I got to say, working with Trisha was so much fun. If you get a chance, I mean, have her do your photography, because she is amazing and she is just fun. And I hate having my picture taken.
Everybody
and I told her that. I'm like, oh, I hate this. And she just made me feel relaxed and comfortable. And we just had a great time. So it was awesome. Yeah. And the pictures are great. And I want to throw in too, from a marketing standpoint, with Canva and everything right now, it's easy to slap up pictures. Just find an image and slap it up there and do a quote or whatever. But when you have actual pictures of yourself, it just helps people. It helps get the know, like, trust factor out there.
Oh, big time.
They see you, and especially if you're doing a tip of yourself with your picture, then it's like they're really getting to know you. And that's huge, because people obviously only work with people they know, like, and trust. So
it's true.
It just move that along. So
absolutely. Yeah, it was really fun. I got to photograph Diana's family too, and we did some headshots. And I was so humbled. She has, one of them's a teenager still, but the other one's 22.
They just had birthdays, yeah. So one's now.
Oh, okay. So both of them are out of there.
Oh my
wow. Oh my gosh.
Time goes kind of quick, kind of not.
Well, and I was just
so he just graduated from college.
Oh my
he did great the graduation, right?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the boys they loved working with Trisha. They're like, she was really fun. Like, because
boys,
they don't like getting their picture taken.
No, not at all. I was so honored. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool when teenage boys. Yeah. I photographed Julie Miller Davis's family, and her son is a senior in high school, and you just never know what's going to happen. And I'm not kidding. I left that session. He's like a total class clown. And I left that session and my face hurt because I laughed so hard. And what was amazing was he was funny. We did it on a golf course because all three of them golf. And what was so fun was he was a goofball in between me getting set up for the next thing, but he never slowed us down, and he always made all of us laugh. And it was just like this perfect timing. And people, I'm always amazed. I never know what I'm going to get when I get to a session. And I don't go with expectations. So my expectations are always like totally, it exceeds my expectations. People really shine. And your family really, it was really fun. And Joanne the same, because nobody really likes to be photographed anymore. But I always tell people, I say, this is the time to start to fall in love with being photographed and doing video, because everybody's online. And again, no one's youer than you. And if you can get yourself out there in a meaningful way through photography, through video, with your graphics and with that messaging, then, you're unstoppable. You're ahead of the game, because there are so many people that won't do it.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
It takes courage. You just gotta do it.
It does. It really does.
You really do.
It takes a village.
I wasn't comfortable with this whole video thing. I started networking, and I didn't know anybody. I had the safety and comfort of my home, at least. But but now here I am. I'm talking. It's fun. So
yay!
Conversation.
It is a fun conversation. And I think that if people, like I said, like I was talking about the bicycle, I feel like it's that way in how I how when people come through our experience here at the studio, like, let's start talking about what's going to happen. And then it grows from the tricycle to the bicycle and into the mountain bike. And it's not, and I wish people could understand that with their business and give themselves some grace, because you cannot compare your beginning to someone else's middle. All of us that are in the middle of our businesses, it's taken us a long time to get here. And so people really need to give themselves grace and understand that there's going to be a process to that you don't get to get on the 10 speed and have a successful business inside of a year. That rarely happens. Usually when you find someone who seems like an instant success, they've been working 10 years.
Right. There's no shortcuts. There's no magic pill to take, unfortunately.
No, there's not. And, Diana actually said it really well, that you don't want to waste money. And that's the thing. I find that people love to go to marketing first. And it's like, you can't go to marketing. You don't know you don't know who you're talking to or why you're talking to them.
Exactly.
They'll spend all that money on marketing because it's fun. It seems fun.
Yeah.
But the real fun is getting, like I said, the processes and the procedures, your vision, your mission, those things together, because then you can build that brand and the marketing much faster, and you didn't waste money.
And it's really fun then because you're actually talking to your ideal client. So you're seeing results. You're not just throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and like, I love it. I hear it all the time. People's like, when we say, who's our ideal client? I always say female entrepreneurs on the rise. And then you'll hear someone go, I'm looking for anyone. Or like, I remember a cute, like a Rodan and Fields gal. She was like, I'm looking for anyone with skin. And it's like, no, actually you're not. It's not true, because not everyone can be our client. It's the people who are like us generally, or they are different enough that we respect their differences. But there are people that just aren't our people. And if you don't go through and get to that avatar, that's where people have clients that are just they're not a match at all.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to be miserable.
So miserable. And we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you have one crappy client and you're like, whoa, wait, all right, what have I not done in my business that I need to do better so that never happens again?
Right.
And and of course, when things do go wrong, just give of yourself, get it fixed quickly, do it with pleasantness, and just bless and release that person, because if you don't, I mean,
they won't change. It's not going to change. The situation won't change. So
it's
just nip it, bless and release quickly.
Yes, very quickly. Well, this was awesome, ladies. I think we gave some really good tips, tricks, and got into some nitty gritty. I really like that.
Yep.
Did. This was
yes, thank you. So Trisha, you have something coming up. Why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, that's right, I do. So November 17th, I have a headshot event coming up in Colorado Springs, and I've got 2 spots left there. And in Denver, November 18th, I have 3 spots left in Denver. And so, great way to get your headshots. Let's get moving. That's the way to rise. I got
to say something else about Trisha. So when you get your headshot, you're not just showing up and she's taking pictures and you're all lined up. They do makeup. She'll set you up with her fashion
stylist.
Person. Yeah, her stylist, to help you pick out what is going to look best for you in a picture. Because we don't always dress how how it's going to be best in a photo. Okay. Right. So how you dress every day, or even how you're dressing for video, or it might be different. So she'll walk you through that. They'll do your makeup, so you don't even have to worry about that. Then they zhuzh your hair, and great word, zhuzh your hair.
Zhuzh it up.
And
zhuzh your hair.
And then you're good to go. So it's all done. I mean, it's like you don't just show up and photos start happening. It's a whole process. So
it is. And it's an awesome, I feel like it's an awesome process. Every step of it is to help build your confidence. And then afterwards, during the headshot event, we go ahead and pick your images so that, it doesn't matter if you're doing branding or headshots. I get those images to you within 4 to 6 business days, because we're business people and we need those images right away. So I'm a little bit vehement about getting those to people.
Yes, she's right on time.
Yeah, very quick turnaround. So it was great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I did that, because I needed a headshot. It was forever. And I'll probably be updating it too. So I mean,
that's right.
Updating them, because you changed the video. That was during COVID. I want a different one.
Oh yeah. Well, and you had your
different season haircut.
Now you got to put your hair down.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Well, this is a great coffee talk, the nitty gritty of branding and marketing. We're just going to lay it out like it really is for you, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be back in 1 month. We'll update you on our next our next broadcast. So
Yes.
peace out, people.
Awesome. Bye-bye. Have a great